Hi, I'm David Partika, and I created CSS Burner as a rapid optimization tool for CSS. Now, one of the underutilized functions of CSS Burner is the statistical analysis function, which you can access by clicking on the bar graph here. And the way that I think it's useful is to be able to analyze number of occurrences of something that's perhaps just dead weight in your style sheet that could be removed and you don't even realize that it's just taking up bandwidth in your style sheet. So let me show you an example of how you can use this functionality to plan strategies for trimming down your own style sheets. So the style sheet has already been pre-pasted into this text area. We see that it's roughly 702 kilobytes in length. One thing I've noticed about style sheets is that when as developers maintain these style sheets, they tend to keep old unnecessary prefixed versions of properties and CSS functions. They tend to keep them in the style sheet, and it just winds up eating bandwidth that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, because browsers, as they evolve, they tend to become able to use the unprefixed versions of properties. So let's select, and we already have it selected, but what we would do is select the vendor-prefixed CSS property option. So we want that frequency distribution. And let's take number of occurrences, and let's see how many properties in this style sheet have been prefixed and what we might decide to do about it. So let's analyze this. And so the parser is counting. And we see that in this style sheet of 702 kilobytes that there are 285 Moz prefixed properties, 95 occurrences of MS prefixed, 40 occurrences of Opera, the O prefixed, and 659 occurrences of the webfix prefixed properties. Now, I know that Moz and WebKit are still very active in trying to add new properties or give browsers access to new cutting edge CSS properties. But one thing that I think can be cut from most style sheets is the MS and the Opera prefix properties. You might think of properties such as MS transform. Well, I mean, the transform property is well accepted by browsers at this point. You might think of something like Opera. I think I have an example here. You might think of the O transition property. Now, transition is widely accepted as a property and used by all browsers, as far as I know, at this point. So a reasonable thing for a developer to do to cut bandwidth would be to say, okay, I'm going to just get rid of Opera prefix properties or MS prefix properties. And so on average, a property plus its value and the semicolon takes somewhere around 25 bytes. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. So let's say 25 bytes on average is what you could cut by removing one of these property value pairs from your style sheet. So we can do the math, and remember, it was a 702 kilobyte style sheet. And we can say, okay, I'm going to get rid of all the MS prefix properties. So there's 95 of those. And I'm going to get rid of all the Opera prefix properties. For example, like I said, O transition. We don't need that prefix anymore. So let's get rid of that too. So 40 plus 95 is 135. And just doing the math, 135 occurrences times, I estimated somewhere around 25 bytes per property value pair plus semicolon. So 135 times 25 is going to be something like maybe 3 kilobytes, somewhere in that neighborhood, 3 to 3.5 kilobytes of wasted bandwidth. So this is how I think that this vendor prefix property frequency distribution can be helpful for you. It can help you identify prefixes for properties that you no longer care about, and you could cut them from your style sheet. And in this case, I'd estimate somewhere between 3 and 3.5 kilobytes from a 702 kilobyte style sheet. So it's maybe like 0.5%, but every little bit counts. So, and this is just one style sheet. Others could be more, others could be less. It's a case-by-case basis, but this is how this property and this functionality can help you. So if you found this useful, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to Optimize CSS channel, please do so. And I thank you for your time and your attention.